Welcome back to Busy Keto Life, where I put science back into nutrition so you have the facts you need to make the right decisions about your health. How many times have you heard someone say the best diet is a balanced diet? Sounds great, right? What could be bad about a balanced diet? Yet I wonder how many people know what the phrase balanced diet actually means. Let's explore. When someone objects to the ketogenic way of eating, claiming the proper way to eat is a balanced diet, what is that person really saying? What they're usually saying is they just want to keep eating the way they always have. A person touting a balanced diet usually could not tell you, by the numbers, what it is. It just sounds good. Despite the fact that the words balanced diet have an intuitively positive feel, in point of fact, it means eating the diet that has been pounded into the American consciousness for the last 50 years and which has produced the largest health crisis in the history of mankind. In other words, when someone says they prefer a balanced diet, what they're saying is they want to continue eating the same combinations of foods and ratio of macros that has resulted in the American obesity epidemic and illness. Isn't it amazing a phrase that resonates so positively actually produces such devastatingly harmful effects? If you've been doing your research, you know sugar kills, and more than about 25% carbs in one's diet is just plain unhealthy. Our bodies were never intended to consume carbs in any significant quantities. When you look into the meaning of balanced diet, you find it means a diet based on the government's nutritional guidelines, which are a prescription for becoming overweight, acquiring unhealthy conditions such as insulin resistance, and diseases such as diabetes, cancer, and heart disease, which, ironically, are the very things the government tells you eating in compliance with the guidelines will prevent. The government's guidelines call for 50% of calories from carbohydrates. While that's a terribly unhealthy amount of carbs, it's even worse than it appears because in order to get those carbs, Americans don't eat 6 or 7 bowls of this a day. They eat this, and this, and this, and this. And the obesity epidemic continues to grow. In just the last year, the number of people who are obese has increased yet again 4%. And with that comes the commensurate increase in diabetes, the treatment of which is a $187 billion a year business in America. The balanced diet is clearly a good thing, well, for the bottom line of certain industries. I should point out that 6 or 7 bowls of this a day, while better than this, is still unhealthy. As I mentioned, the body is simply not built to cope with that volume of carbohydrates. As keto practitioners, and thus healthy, we might wonder why the government recommends such a poisonous and health-destroying diet. The reason is when the government embraced the idea of a low-fat diet, which was the result of manipulated, suppressed, and corrupted data, it had to find a way to replace the calories lost from cutting back dietary fat. The obscene answer was to replace those fat calories with carbohydrate calories. And of course, fat is twice as calorically dense as carbs, so for every gram of fat a person removes from his diet, he has to add 2 grams of carbohydrates. Do we see a problem? It should be noted there is no credible science to this very day supporting the narrative that reducing dietary fat prevents heart disease, heart attacks, or increases lifespan. In short, it's a myth. The promotion of that myth, as if it was factual, is the root of our national health crisis. The human body needs dietary fat in significant quantities to be healthy. The advice to reduce fat and replace it with carbohydrates is what's killing us. But some folks are doing exceptionally well under this deadly false narrative. The takeaway from these facts is that Americans who have been brainwashed for the last 40 years believe that eating what the government tells them, the much revered balanced diet based on the government's nutritional guidelines, are the ones who are healthy, despite that very diet driving our country into the worst health crisis in history. Can we disabuse the masses of their belief in a myth they believe heart and soul? I've found facts rarely affect a person's belief in a myth. So what can we do? My answer is to live the ketogenic lifestyle, spread the good news, which is what I'm doing here with you right now, be a physical example of great health, and in so doing, being a walking billboard advertising the attributes and benefits of following science rather than a false government narrative. In doing so, we can be here to help those who value facts and science when they wake up on this subject and start asking questions. I hope you found this video informative. Thanks for being here. I'll speak to you again soon. Take care.